So let's start. Is my screen visible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So today we are going to learn about dimension and about block, how we can create block.
Sir, one thing you asked me the last class that the line scale type,
Line type, scale type.
line
Yes,
type.
yes, line type, scale. Right. Okay. So yes, let me cover that first. Line type, scale. Thank you. And then we will learn about dimension, text, and block. Okay. All right then. Suppose we are creating any object, either that's a normal line or rectangle or any curve like arc or circle. If I'm creating like that, if any object, so each and every object has line type. So that can be assigned through layer, or I can override from here as well. Okay, so always it is assigned with layer first. So with this default layer, the line type is default right now, or the continuous line type is there. So let me override. So go to this load and let me choose this one, and then it is loaded, and then again I have to select it, and I have to choose it from this load option. Now here you see that I have applied this line type, but it is not properly visible. If I go to zoom, and then maybe I can see, but that's not the right way. I want to see it in my view scale. This is in this current view scale, right? So for that, what I have to do, I have to go to this LTS line type scale, and I have to give this scale factor. So this line type scale factor variable command work globally for all the object line type. So let me give it like 10 if I provide and press enter. So you have to check whatever which is the correct LTS. So go for that. Let me give 100 and press enter, or else I have to decrease it. Let's see, 0.5 and press enter. Yes, I have to decrease it. So let's provide 0.2, and here you see. Okay, so now see if this line type is different, and you have to load this, go to other, and choose this or this, any of this. Click on OK, select it, and choose this. Now you want to have different line type scale for this particular line. So if I go with that line type scale, it will reflect on this also. It will change this also. So that line type LTS command will work for all the objects line type. Like if I give this, so it will work for all the objects line type. So I don't need that. I want to change this only. So for that I have to select this and go to its own properties, and there you have to change it so that you will only change this individual line. So there is this line type scale. So here you can, like the global scale is 0.5, and after that this scale factor will multiply that global scale factor. Okay, so that is currently 1, and if you want to increase it, so you give it to 1.5. Okay, you got that. That way we can change it for all the objects and for particular objects as well. This is about the line type, which I missed here the previous class. Now after creating sub objects, we will place, like, dimension we will place. So let me show you. If I have this kind of objects, and if I have some curves as well, like circle if I have. Okay, so what do we do from this dimension? Okay, this annotation panel provide us this dimension. So this option is for all the dimensions in one command. You can say the single command has all the dimension type like linear, curve. With this option you can choose, if you choose this, and it will provide you the circle as well, and if you choose this line, so it will give the line length as well. So this single command can work for all, but if you want to specifically go for the dimension, so we have this option here: linear, aligned, angular, arc length, radius, and from this list you can choose the specific dimension option, or else you can go for like a command. So dim lin is the command for dim linear, and dim angular, dim ang you can type for dim angular. So same way that like aligned, so dim aligned, here you can also see these things. So basically you can guess the command as well. These are very simple. So the first three letter of each and every dimension, and you have to provide dim for dimension in the prefix. Okay, so that's very simple to type the command. You can easily type it. And let's go for this linear. So how we can place linear? Suppose if I'm placing from this point to this point, so in this linear direction I will get the dimension. And here, but here you see the text is very small. I have to zoom it out, sorry, zoom in. Okay, so that is not properly set according to this drawing, so that I have to set. So I will do that later. I'm coming on that later. Now if I go with this point to, if I go to this angular direction, but I have selected this linear, so it will only provide the dimension in the linear. See, it is showing me this this point to this point linear length. If according to this can also provide horizontal as well and the vertical. So this linear only provides in horizontal and vertical direction. Okay, and for your this kind of length you want to get, so for that choose aligned. When the line is aligned in an angle, so then you have to choose this dim align, this point to this point, specify, and then provide the placement and click. All right, then we have the angle. You want to check the angle from this to this, so you select both these two line. Sorry, so this is polyline. You have to select polyline and then this line, then you can place. So let me go with this dimension angular. So this dimension line is overlapped with this polyline, so make sure this selection cycling is on so that you can choose this polyline, and then this line you'll select it and you can get the angle. So you can get the outer angle as well and the inner angle as well, and you have to place and click. Okay, next you can go with this arc length. So we don't have any arc here, but with this curve if you select, so it will select you that this is not any arc or polyline arc segment. All right, so for that you must have one arc. Now you select and you can specify the arc radius of this curve. You can specify radius, so for that just you have to select the curve or the circle. Okay, and where you want to place it, just place your mouse pointer there and click. Okay, and it will highlight the center with this plus icon. Okay, you can specify the diameter as well. Just select radius and click. So you can specify the diameter. And these two, ordinate and jogged. Ordinate, it shows the one point distance from its origin. Okay, so it will always show from the UCS origin. So you all have the idea about UCS and WCS, right? So let me delete this. Before that, I have the command ID to get the ID of any point, means the coordinate position, coordinate value. Okay, just select it, and here it's showing that the X value is 43.075 and the Y value is 88.86, right? Now with this ordinate value, I can have this point X value and Y value, which will be calculated from the UCS origin. So if I select and if I specify this point, and if I drag my mouse to the y direction in this vertical direction, so it will show the value of X. See, the X value is showing. And if I place horizontally, means in the X direction, so it will show you the value of Y. Okay, so at a time you cannot get the both, so for that you can specify with two ordinate dimension. All right, next one is jogged. Jogged radius we provide for curve and arcs when we don't know the radius or we don't want to specify the radius. For that we can go with jogged. Okay, when we don't want to specify the center of that radius, so then we will go with this jogged. So select this, and then you have to specify which will be the center location. Like this you can specify, this way you can place, and where will be the your text position will be that you specify, and where this jog placement will be there, so you click on that position, and this is done. Okay, so this way we provide our dimension. Now we have to check that the dimension settings, because all the dimension, text height, this arrow height, these are not properly done according to our project, right, according to our drawing. So for that we will go to dimension settings. So for that we go with this icon, this annotation drop down, and there you got this dimension style. Okay, the second option is dimension style. So right now this is standard. If you click on this drop down arrow, and there you can find out this manage dimension style. So we have this two, the annotative and standard. So you can go to this directly, manage dimension style, and here I cannot delete this standard option, but if I go to this and right click, I can delete this annotative, and it's asking that are you sure you want to delete that. But for this one, for this standard, you cannot delete it. So this is the default option. You cannot the two is the annotative and the standard, both are default, but you can delete the annotative one, but you cannot delete this standard one. Okay, and now let's go with this standard. If you want to have this only standard and you want to work with that, so select this and go for this modify. Let's go to this modify option, and let's start from the first tab, that is line. So you can choose the color, line type and line weight for your dimensions. So you can go with this, like you can specify if you want to overwrite, so you can go with this options, or else if you have proper um, what I can say, if you have proper uh, layer, you have created proper layer for your dimensions, so then you should go for that by layer. Okay, that would be better. So choose by layer options for both, for these three properties. And what is extend beyond ticks? So these options expand uh, beyond this ticks, extend how much it will extend. So next, this baseline spacing is there. So you can see this dimension line baseline spacing is there, so you can provide it like 5, and you can have the difference. Okay, so from the baseline, the spacing will be there, so that is how we define. So it's not showing in the preview, it's not showing you, so let me show you in the real drawing. Okay, so baseline spacing is our 5 unit, and we can specify that if I want to specify suppress the dimension line 1 and dimension line 2, so that I can suppress. So if I need like that, so I can do. All right, next is your extension line. So extension lines are these lines. Okay, so that you can provide. These are your extension lines, so that you can provide with your two different extension line we have. We can specify the line type for each and every extension line and line width as well, and you can suppress like the same. And now extend beyond dimension line. So these are your dimension line, and this is extending right now. Okay, so that you can provide like if it is 0, so you can place 0. So here you see, and now you can see that there is a slight gap from that particular line. I have provided this dimension, and from that particular line we have slight gap, slight offset, so that is offset from origin. So if you go with like 1, and here you see offset from the origin is like that. Okay, so you can give the offset from the origin. All right, so this you can provide. So 0.0625 was there. Okay, and that was 318. All right, now fixed length extension line. So you know which one is the extension line, so you can fix the length of your extension line. All right, so that you can do as well. So that will fix the length, that is 1 or like 2 if you want to fix the extension line length, and how much offset will be there, so that you can fix. These are the extension line, and you can mention that this will be the fixed length. So we don't fix that, so I will uncheck. Next, go for your symbol and arrows, what kind of arrowhead you want, so that you can choose for your first and second, you can go with. And if you're providing multi readers, so for that you can specify for that also different. All right, and let's provide the arrow size like let's provide with 5. Okay, and center marks, you see when I have provided the radius dimension, it was showing with this mark, this center mark. Okay, so if you want to have the center line, so you can go with the center line option. Center line, the center line will show. So if you choose mark, so you can go with mark. If you don't want any center marks, so you can go with center marks option. So this is the arrow size. Let me check the text height as well. So text height, like, give it 8. Okay, and now here you can get this line option visible with this mark and this line. You can choose whatever you need. Now the dimension break size is like, when I was providing the radius, and then I'm having the two segments of dimension. So what will be the break size? Okay, that is provided from here, 0.1250. Okay, and next is arc length symbol. All right, so here you see preceding dimension text, above dimension text, so that you can choose. And what will be the radius jog dimension, that is, and jog height factor, these are provided. Next is your text. So text style, if it is there already created, so you can choose the text style. And the text color should be like by layer. You choose the fill color. Okay, if you want to feel anything, like if you want to highlight this way, you can choose highlight. All right, so there is none. And the text height, you fix it. And if you want to draw a frame around the text, so you can draw the frame around the text. And then you want to fill the color, so you can do that. And what will be the text placement? So here you see, whenever placing the dimension, it is the centered, both in vertical and horizontally, and view direction left to right. So that's according to our standard, uh, left to right. And text placement, that will be centered, that is perfect. And if you want to, like, have it above, so that you can place it. Okay, when it is horizontally, see, when it is horizontally, so that will be at extend line 1, like this one, this extend line 1. Okay, so that you can have it over this way. So centered is better, so let me choose it centered. And now here you see all the text alignment are horizontal. Text alignment is horizontal, even if it is, even I'm placing the align dimension, the text placement will be horizontal. So you can go with this aligned with dimensions. Dimension line means this dimension line, according to this dimension line, the dimension text will be aligned. So that you can do even in any angle, that will align. Or you can choose with ISO standard. As per the standard, it will set all the alignment. Okay, if you go with this or this or this, choose. Okay, now next about fit. Suppose you are creating, you are specifying dimension in very small parts, in very small areas. Suppose here you see the text height is 8 and this arrow size is 5. So if you are going less than those heights, so then what will be the best fit? Okay, so that you are specifying from this option, fit fit options, either text or arrow, which one will be the best fit, so that you are selecting. And you can specify that no, you want to have the arrow based fit, or only the text, so both text and arrows. Or here it's mentioning that either text or arrow, which one is the best fit. So you want to make it both, so you can go for this. And then after that, when text is not in the default position, place it beside the dimension line, over the dimension line with leader. So let's go with this over dimension line with leader. Okay, and here you see this scale for dimension features. So you can go with this use overall scale. You can go and see the arrow size is there. Okay, I have changed this arrow size and everything I have changed. So if you don't want to change it, by each and tab and each and section, like symbol and arrows and text. So for that you can specify the overall scale. Okay, so the default options will be remain same, and you will multiply with a overall scale, so that will work for all the options like symbol and arrows, text and everything. Okay, so that you also can provide. All right, so you can match with it, match with your drawing scale as well, or you can go with annotative. Suppose you are making it annotative and all according to the annotative objects, so that you want to align. So for that you can choose this as the annotative, and here you will this status bar is there. So these are the option to control your annotation scale. Okay, and when you check this annotative, here you will get this symbol, this Naruto arrow symbol kind of things you will get over there as well. Okay, and this primary unit is there. So what will be the display format for your unit, so that you can specify. You can convert it into inches, even if it is like even if your drawing is in millimeter, so you can display in another format, so that you can also do. And you want to uh, provide like in the suffix, that you can type over there. See that prefix and suffix you can provide. And here also you can change the measurement scale as well. Okay, so suppose you have provided the actual dimension, like 10 feet is there, but you want to show it with the scale factor, with the drawing scale factor that you want to show. So for that you can go with this measurement scale factor, and you can apply the scale factor with it. Okay, next is alternate units. You can display another unit with this, like you are working with millimeter, but to the farm or to the structural engineers or to the architectural engineers, most of the cases in architectural have their architectural units. So for that you can give them their units with this, so they can better understand and start their drawing quickly. So for that you can choose this display alternate unit, and unit format will be like architectural, and this kind of unit they will get it. All right, so that you can choose. And tolerance for if you are working with any tolerance, if it is needed, uh, how much can be tolerated if there is any when you are manufacturing, like this can be helpful for precast, your precast related stuff. So there, if there is anything to provide, like there is, so that you can provide the method you need to know, and what will be the precision. Okay, so everything. So we don't need that for our civil engineering purpose. All the stuffs are done, and now after this you click on OK, and this is done. You can choose and set it current. This is right now active, and you go to close, and here you see I'm getting all of this. Now let me provide it well. Okay, so at the rate 450 comma 500. Okay, now let me show you with this pattern concrete. Now if I provide, let me provide like tangent radius, tangent radius is like 8, Okay, so next I can give it with array. So for that, let me choose this rectangular array. So the rectangular array be column and row. So how many column I need? I need 2 columns and 2 rows, right? 2 columns and 2 rows. So from here as well, you can increase the rows and columns. Okay, these options you can increase rows and columns. And now what will be the gap between this? Okay, so the gap will be like the column gap will be between gap will be you can give the equation as well. So 450 minus 16, right? 8 plus 8, 16, and there it's fit properly, and there as well. So equation 500, then minus,
I know. Equation.
sorry,
The first sign is minus.
yes, then you can provide this as a minus value, and that 484, right? So there you can provide it to the minus direction. Yes. Okay. You were saying about this, right?
When you said equation, that meant minus or what? Or the whole thing. Whole thing you said.
Yes.
Oh.
Though. Yes. Yes. Okay. Now let me provide the dimensions. The linear from this point to this point. Specify. Okay. Now after this, if I need to change anything, so I can go with the dimension style, so that will work on each and every dimension with this standard. Now let me place all of this. Okay, and this diameter. Okay, now if you want to change anything, like after this, select it, and from this also you can change the arrow. Okay, so this way you can see this point to this point, you was telling that this is the diameter. This way also you can flip the arrow, or else if you place your mouse pointer and right click, and there you can go to this, its dimension style as well, and you can change the precision. Okay, precision of it, you can change the precision for this. Go to and right click, and if there is any dimension style overrides is there, so that you can remove. So that was there, so overrides, you remove it. Okay, right click, and then go to properties, and there you can change the arrow. Okay, if there is this arrow is needed to change, so you can change with this. Okay, you can change, so that is okay right now. And this arrow size and everything can change. Right, now let me show you that this text movement, when you move this text, okay, when you move this text, what will happen? Keep dimension line with text. So when I'm moving this, the dimension line also move like this way. Okay, see, or else when to move the text and add leader, so this way it will add leader, and you want to have the dimension line, so you can provide the dimension like that, and no leader, you don't want leader, so that you can mention over there as well. Okay, and you can again go with this dimension scale for this fit. Okay, so this is about the fit, and about this primary units, you can change the precision value, you can change dimension units, you can change. Then nothing is there about this text view direction. If it is needed to be changed, you can go with these options. Now about this extension line and everything, you can go and provide extension line, we don't need. So let me, okay, now everything is all right. So when you're moving, you are adding with leader, and after this you can again like go and change this architectural tick, and you change it to architectural tick. Okay, and if you go to this feed option, choose this move text and add leader. So when you move this text, it will add the leader with this. Okay, so generally we keep dimension line with text, so when we move, it will move according to this dimension line, or it will move along the dimension line. So you don't want to that, so for that go with move text and add leader. So there is close dimensions. Okay, there are two or more dimensions very closely placed, so for that you do it like this way. All right, okay, so this is how we manage our dimensions, creating our dimension styles, and after that also we can change, so that way you can place. So you can specify this as a continued dimensions if continued dimension is there, baseline dimensions are there, and if you want to change the flip arrow, so you can change the flip arrow this way, you want to place, and there as well you can flip the arrow this way if you want to place, so that you can do with this option. Okay, select this dimension and place your mouse over there. If you place this mouse, so it will not show anything, you can just place, change the placement. Okay, you can only change the placement. Now you select it again, go to this flip arrow and go to this flip arrow. Now let me show with this. Okay, so if I provide the dimension, linear dimension from this point to this point, if I provide this as a dimension, now if I select and if I go with this as a continued dimension, so from this point it will continue the dimension, but I don't want to continue from that end, I will continue from this end. So I'll choose this as this point, I will place the mouse pointer only and it will show me this list. I'll choose this continue dimension, from this end it will continue, it will start a continue. So from this end to this end, and then again from this end to this end, I can continue. All right, then you press escape. All right, now I will choose, I'll place my mouse pointer over there and I'll choose baseline option, baseline dimension. So from this line, this as a baseline, it will count all the points. Okay, so what is baseline and dimension line? So baseline means there will be one base only, and from that end it will count all the points. It's like from the origin it will count all the dimension value. But what about the continuous, it will count from the last end. Okay, the next point dimension will be counted from the last end. So it's same like the absolute coordinate and relative coordinate. Now you can choose this space. Okay, now you go with this, or you can type dimension base, beam base, you can type, right? Or else you select it and place your mouse pointer over there, and you can choose with baseline dimension, and this as a baseline, and from this it will count. Okay, or else you go with this. If you are going with this beam baseline, so it will always select the last dimension. You can go with this select option, and you can choose if you want to go with this dimension, you want to go with this dimension. So you have to click on the select option, and then you have the freedom to select. So you have to select on that baseline, and that will start creating the dimension base. So here you see, from this end line as a base, it's taking the next dimension, and it will always count from this base the next, right? Now here you see we have some close, so you can drag this with this leader, you can add, or else you can provide space, you can provide some space. So for that we have dimension space option is there. Dimension space, you have to select base dimension. So this is the base dimension, and you have to select dimensions, this dimension to space, you press enter, and then you provide the value. Okay, so for that you can choose also automatic, or else you can type the value, like let's provide 10, enter, and here you see I'm having this space between three dimensions, and the gap is 10. Okay, so this way we can provide dimension space. We don't like this way, we don't randomly move it, we provide with proper spacing. This way, dimension space is the command. First we select the base dimension, which will be fixed, and then the dimensions to space, then press enter, and then we provide the value like 20 you can provide, and press enter. Okay, so this way we will place our dimensions, and after placing your dimensions you will provide text. So we have multi-line text and single line text. So the multi-line text, you have to create area, first point and the second point, and then according to the height, text height, and the text uh, font and the color and bold, italic, and like that you you will create your text. So here let me provide the same text height, and provide like, okay, eat and enter, and then close the text editor, or you can press escape and enter. Okay, and here you see this is the arrow, this is the area you have created, so that much I don't need, I will decrease it. And this is the grip point to move or you can say this is the insertion point of your text. You can move it and place it. Okay, and you can place your, let me stretch it, dimension like 450 by, okay. You can double click on it, and this way you can change, you can change the width.
So this happens sometime, but how do we get it in one?
Sorry.
These are two lines. It is getting separated.
Yes, so let me do it once. Like this way we'll create arrow, and here what I have done, that I have separated this, so that's why I was getting the two different. So the same, choose, and you press enter, and it will get you to the second line. And you click, and you can, if you double click on it, and you can edit it. So I have clicked over there, and like I have separated this as a two, and then I was, nope, this was not okay. So this way, I don't know what I have done. Okay, I'm not getting that option. So this is generally how we create our text, that is multi-line text, and this way we create the area, and we provide the text height and the layer properly, and if it is there anything bold or italic or anything to change the font, and then we provide the text and we type it, and then we close the editor. And here you see that we have two different lines, but that count as a single object. These two lines count as a single object. So that is about multi-line, means within the multiple lines it will create as a single object. But we have also single line, means for each single line we want it as a single object, different object. So for that we can go with this single line text. So for that we have this single line, the command is text only, and for multi-line text, mtext is the command. So you have to specify the point where you want to start, and how much will be the height. So you can specify with points as well, or here you can give the value. So let me give it to 10, enter. What will be the rotation? So there will be no rotation, so 0, enter, and you write the text. Okay, and then if you press enter and you get next line, there you put it, and next if you press enter and there you don't write it and press enter, and you will release from that. And here you see this as a single object and this as a single object. That is about single line text. Means the single lines create single object. Okay. Now if you double click on it, you can only edit the values of your text. Okay. And then you choose it, and from there you can go to this options, text and properties, positions, values, and there if there is any standard or style is created, so you can go with this style. Okay, so for that we can create text style. So the command is style, enter, and there in this within this style you can create, or else you can define a new style one. Let's create a style one, and there you can specify this style. You can give the height, or what will be the font name and font style. It is the font style according to this font name, and you click on apply. If there is a effect you need, upside down, backwards, with factor, oblique angle if you need, so that you can provide and close it, and then you can choose and select and go with this style, and there you find out this style one. So this way you can change for single line text. Okay, but for multi-line text you can have it, so you choose this and there you can change. Now you can convert your single line text into multi-line text as well. Okay, so how you can convert? So for that you go to this express tools, and there we have this convert to m text. Convert to m text, select this and you press enter. That's it, simply. And you select and double click, and you can have all the options, and it is right now as a multi-line text. Okay, and now let's see how we can create block. Okay, so for that we can create one simple, that is, let's create at the rate 75 comma 50, or else 50 comma 75. I'll press tab to switch to the previous value, and press tab to switch and press enter. So now let me place this copy. So this is 50 and this is 75, right? So select it, enter. This point I'll place it. So here it will have this as an endpoint. So I'll specify the value like 1250. Right now this gap from this end to this end is 1200. Okay. Now let me go with this at the rate comma 1200. Enter. Okay, now your door frame is ready. Here you can see. Okay, but you have to place it according to the right point. So which one will be the right point? So according to that you can provide. So let me place it with this. I will click on it, place the space bar, I'll have the move option, and then I can place over there, and then I can rotate it back, this or this option. Yes. So that is the placement. And let's go with this arc. You can go with the start and radius, so that will be this. that will be the start, and that is the end, and the radius is 1200, right? Enter, and that is done. Now we can see this is a different object, this has a different object, this has a different object, this has a different object. But when we count door, when I'll click any of the part of this door, it will be selected as a single object. So how we can do that? We will go with this block B, enter, and then I'll give it a name so that I can particularly categorize all this object as a single object. So I will give it a name like D1 I can give, and what will be the pick point? So the pick point will be the insertion point. When I will insert, it will be the insertion point. So I can give this as a midpoint, or this whatever I require. So according to that, I'll choose the pick point. And then what is the block unit? So that you can set block unit, what will be the block unit. So according to that, it will have the unit. So right now this is done with this, and now I will not go to this block editor. So I will show you later to the next class about the block editor. What is this? Now just focus about creating block, and now here you see this retain option is there, convert to block option is there, delete object is there. So retain means it will retain the object, the source you have selected it as it is the same, means it will keep the source as multiple objects. But if you choose this convert to block, so means the source selection will be converted to block, and the block will be saved as well. For the retain, it will keep all the multiple objects as it is, and it will save. And if you choose this delete, the source will be deleted, but it will save as well. So you can choose, let me select delete, select object, and then select it object, and done. And here you see four objects selected, that it's highlighting, and you can click on OK. Now the source is deleted. Now how you can insert? So with this insert option, insert block, we have this D1 done, and here you can place it. Okay, so now anywhere you can click, and this grip point, it's the pick point of, and with this you can drag it and place it anywhere else. Now while inserting, we can, what is the better benefit of creating blocks, like what is the uh, length I have provided 1200. Okay, so now I can change it also. When I'm inserting, here you see the insertion point is asking me about insertion point. Before specifying the insertion point, you can also change it, you can change the scale. So for this door symbol, it will if I put the scale factor, I'll have the effect both in X and Y direction. So I can provide individually for X, and individually for Y, and individually for Z with these three options. But if I put the scale, so it will affect all the three axes for X, Y, and Z. Here you see. So you all know about a reference factor, RF. You all know, right, about what is the ratio of reference factor?
No.
Okay, so reference factor is about the ratio your drawing length by actual length. Am I right? So let me change that 1200 to 900. Okay, the length from 1200 to 900. So before that, let me place one, and so I can show you the difference. And here I'll go to scale option, and then about drawing length, that will be 900 divided by your actual length, that is 1200, and you press or specify enter, and then you place. Okay, are you getting it? And then you choose the distance. this is 1200, and let's check it from this midpoint to this midpoint. All right. So with this you can change. So for that you don't have to create it again and again. All right. Now when you are creating your block, okay, when you are selecting your block, mention it to by block, mention it to by block, so that you can change the layer of each and every door. Okay. All right. Okay. So in the next class I will show you some more advanced option about block. We'll know about dynamic block and attributes and table. Okay, so this is for today.
So can you show the path array?
Yeah, okay. Path array is like here you see rectangular and polar array is defined. Means the rectangular array is for the rectangular means x and y direction, and polar is for circular direction. But path is like when you don't have any particular direction. Okay, so then you will choose path. So path you can like you can say with this path array option you can have the result like rectangular array and as well as polar array as well. So for that let me go with this. I have the path like this. Okay, enter, and now let me create. So let me join this so you can select it better. Yeah, so this is the object and I want to have it in this path. So for that I will select this object and I'll choose it path array, and what will be the path? This is the path, and here you see according to this path and from this end I'm getting all of this. Okay, from this start, from the start of this object it is going according to this path. All right. So now you can choose this like you don't want to align according to the path, so you can uncheck this. So it will be like the same. It will be placed according to the path, but the alignment of the object will remain same. Okay, you can choose that. And it is measured right now, and you can choose as a divide so that it will be divided along the path length. Okay, equally it will be divided along the path length that you can provide. Okay, and there you can give it like tangent direction. According to this path curve, this will go to this tangent direction. Okay, so that you can choose the tangent direction is there. So here you see when you have provided with this from measure to divide. See, when you are choosing this measure option, so you can measure the gap between gap, but when you are choosing the divide option, so you can put the value and it will be equally divided. So you can have these options. Okay, and you can delete the. Okay.
So can I do one
Yes.
thing?
Yeah,
जैसे कि
sure.
मैं ये गाड़ी समझ रहा हूँ, ठीक है, इस गाड़ी का एंड पॉइंट पाथ का एंड पॉइंट में होगा और एकदम शुरू वाला पॉइंट वो पाथ का स्टार्ट में होगा, ऐसा कुछ हो सकता
हाँ, वो आपको उसी हिसाब से ऐसा क्रिएट करना पड़ेगा। जैसे कि ये स्टार्टिंग
है। मतलब
ऑब्जेक्ट यहाँ पे है।
बीच में जो स्पेसिंग है उसका
हम्म
कोई
हम्म,
जरूरी नहीं है मेरे को। बस वो स्टार्ट
समझ रहा
पॉइंट और
हूँ।
एंड पॉइंट
हाँ, वो मैं समझ
ग्रिड।
रहा हूँ।
हाँ।
करेक्ट, वो मैं समझ रहा हूँ। तो उसके लिए आपका ये ऑब्जेक्ट यहाँ पे ऐसा होना ज़रूरी है, या फिर ये पॉइंट ऐसा होना ज़रूरी है। ठीक है, तो ठीक है, लेट मी select a similar। ठीक है, तो फिर आप उसके बाद इसको सिलेक्ट करके पाथ एरे कीजिए, सॉरी, सिलेक्ट and go for this path array and then the path curve, and according to the, you have to go to divide, so it will place up to that. So it means depends according to the placement and according to the path length and the item numbers. Okay,
ओके सर।
all right then, this is the end for today's class.